Gentleman.
Yeah, sorry. One specific lobbying point, I think, at the moment, and I know Councillor Chalkley understands these issues. Westminster did tremendous work 10 years ago promoting the concept of low emission zones. We ended up with one which is big inputs and small outputs, but it is actually worth keeping. But I think more specifically what we actually need is an inner low emission zone, extremely important. I can't see of any other way, this is speaking not just on behalf of the Knightsbridge Association, but more widely from a London perspective. I can't see of any other way of achieving the air quality targets which are biting at the moment and over the next 3 or 4 years than having an inner low emission zone which includes all of Westminster and frankly all of K&C. Transport for London estimated that it would only cost £10 million to turn the central and western congestion charging areas into a low emission zone for particulates, and it would be complete lunacy if we did not have that at least as the core of a zone. And I know that many other boroughs, Camden and others, but many other boroughs are lobbying to be included in such a scheme, and I think it's an essential plank in achieving the sort of improvements in air quality and getting us on the right trend, i.e. sharply downwards in terms of transport emissions generally, starting with the harmful ones, to comply with the Mayor's strategy and targets.
We've actually moved on to item 18.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, obviously there's issues with TfL that you raised, which is obviously a lobbying issue as well. Is there any other points on point 18 in terms of issues that the council should be aware of in terms of our lobbying process?
I don't really understand the question, but I think it's correct. Are you and other boroughs lobbying TfL that you should take over the maintenance of TfL roads? Because from the general public's point of view, when you walk down Edgware Road or whatever, the street nameplate says City of Westminster, and the trees, are in a poor state, so it reflects on Westminster. But I believe that's the type of thing I believe you're already lobbying for. Now, how are you getting on with that, for example?
The council would be delighted to retake control of the streets that were handed over to TfL back in 2000. The Mayor has indicated that he might be prepared to consider that, and we're actually just at the beginning of that exercise, but it's something that we obviously support strongly for all of the reasons that Pascal has indicated.
Thanks. Okay, just a couple of extra points I wanted to add. Obviously, you've all had an opportunity to raise your views verbally, but we do also, as I mentioned at the beginning, have the posters on the side, so if there are any additional points you'd like to make, feel free. We're also happy to receive emails or any comments you want to send to us. Our email address is ldf@westminster.gov.uk, so we certainly don't want to limit you to just this session. Would appreciate any comments by the end of August, and after that point we'll obviously take a look at all the comments that we've received and put forward some policy options. So thank you for that. And one last point, in terms of badges, can you please make sure you hand them in on your way out? Councillor Chalkley, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's one item on the agenda there. It says other questions. Is that questions of us or vice versa? No? I think it's what they call any other business in any other type of meeting, but I'm assuming there isn't any. Simon, I can rely on you.
I'll do my best since I haven't shut up all night. I think really just the process from here. When will we get something back? I don't mean in terms of notes of this meeting, but when will we get drafts of a revised document and so on? Yeah.
Thanks for that. I mean, obviously, this is the 10th of 11 workshops, so there's a hell of a lot of comments that we've taken on board. And as I say, we're happy to take additional comments until the end.
I think Simon's talking about the wider process, not just the outcome of this meeting, but the evolution of the city management plan. I think that's what you're talking about, yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, what happens next is we'll produce a document which will be a policy. I'll start again. What we'll do is we'll produce some documents which set out the consultation responses that we've received, and it will also set out how we'll take those on. And then next year we'll be looking at actually producing the city management plan and working up policies, and at which point you'll obviously have further chance to comment on those policies. The first stage, just to clarify, is a matter of drawing together all the consultation responses we've received and publicising those comments and potential ways forward.
And is this subject to an examination in public?
That's some way further down the line. We produce a publication document, the city management plan. We send that off to the Secretary of State, and then there'll be an examination in public where the inspector, the government inspector, looks at all the relevant issues, and then after that we then get an inspector's report, and then hopefully adoption depending on the examination in public. But that is some way off. I mean, as I say, this is very much the initial consultation, the start of the process.
Okay, can I thank you all sincerely for spending 2.5 hours in City Hall this evening to comment on the points that have been listed before you. It has been quite an intense agenda, and I apologise for that, and I'm grateful that you've been able to bear with it, and none of you appear to be wilting too much. So very grateful, and your feedback is very valuable.